Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Meaghan Ziemba from MTDCNC and I'm in Wheeling, Illinois, and I'm at one of the coolest shops I've ever been in since my time in engineering and manufacturing, and I'm here with Mike Bauer. Hello Mike Bauer, how
Hi.
are you?
Glad to have you here, thank you.
So we're here at Marathon Precision in Wheeling, Illinois, and we're going to talk about your shop in a second here, but I want to get an understanding of who you are and how Marathon came to be. Like, what inspired you to start Marathon Precision?
I love equipment, I really do. I love machines, I love technology. I've been blessed, I've worked in it all my life, and I don't ever plan on retiring.
You said you started working at a really, really young age. I don't want to say the age because, work laws, but you've been working your whole entire life. So how did you get into manufacturing though and making dies?
I went to a technical high school in Chicago, a really good one.
Okay.
And gave me a great foundation. They had I was pouring aluminum at 14 years old. I mean, and they had every shop, machine shop, welding, electric, auto, you name it, printing. So by the time you graduated, you had a really good foundation. And in my last year, it was like an apprentice where you go work in a shop half a day and then go to school half a day. And I worked there. It was a small shop. We built it into a bigger shop. And then about 25 years ago, the owner retired and I decided to go out on my own.
That's awesome. And you can tell in your shop here that you put a lot of your personality into the things that you're doing. So Marathon is known for its unique machine shop. So, and as you walk around, you can definitely see that. When you guys take a look at the footage, there's a lot of cool things going on here. So what are some of the cool projects that have come out of your shop specifically?
We've made everything from cars hanging on the walls. We built motorcycles, built a recording studio, fish tanks, fire-breathing dragons, Batmans that shoot fire. I made a sculpture of a woman named April because we built her in April. I've got great guys, and I think it's a unique shop because we have the entire spectrum, from a blacksmith to chemical machining to a laser. And I think it's important that you get young guys in here that see all the technology.
Yeah.
And we have it, and we're pretty well versed in it, and we like starting with younger guys, training them, moving them up. And it's one thing just to have that right side of your brain that thinks math, but if you put some artistic value into it, I think it helps. It helps the creativity of the shop, keeps everybody involved.
Well, and I like the fact that you have different stations here because it's like a story almost when you walk through your shop. I mean, we're standing in front of this beautiful car, and this isn't the only car that you have here. Like, it's an amazing, world to walk through. You created your own world here. So what are some of the things specifically that you're doing within manufacturing? Like, what industries are you working for, and how are you pulling inspiration from your own shop to really create these quality parts?
I think my shop's kind of divided into two things. I started as a die maker, and we still have die making here. Everything from rotary die cutting to punch press dies to think of big cookie cutters. And we hand sharpen them, so we have that whole technology. And then we have enough other technologies here and really good equipment that at this point we can make pretty much anything we want to make, relative to size. And I don't like big parts. Big parts, people get hurt, they're heavy to handle. If you make a mistake, it's expensive. But we do everything from aerospace parts to shafts, somebody down the street. There's 5 machine shops on the block, and I do all the hard work for all of them.
Oh, that's really cool. So you're collaborating.
Yeah, basically because of the uniqueness of all the equipment in our shop, they get stumped or they can't do something, they'll come down, and it helps. And networking helps a lot. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why I like doing this video. because a lot of shops are real super competitive, super secretive. And if you do good work, I don't think you have to be.
Right, especially now when
Yeah.
things are the way that they are.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we want to talk about today too is your relationship with Sodic. So you have a really good partnership with them. What were some of the things going on in the industry? Like, what sort of challenges were you facing where you thought, okay, we need to really pull in Sodic as part of our partnership? And how did that whole relationship start?
I bought an old wire machine. That was my first one.
Okay.
Actually, from a shop down the block. I moved it here on a pallet jack, actually. And this is, right when we were still a small shop. And I called Sodic up, and I asked them to come out, and they treated me like I was $1 million customer.
That's awesome.
So the salesman name was Russ, super great guy, and he helped us from day one. And they're linear motor machines, and I think they have the wrong logo. I think their logo should be, and I tell them this, and I want to trademark it and sell it to them, but I keep telling them I'll give it to them. It should be no negotiation, because we have a lot of equipment in here, and most equipment negotiates with you.
Okay.
You ask for a tenth or 2/10, and we grind 2/10 all day long in my shop. And the Sodic goes up, you ask for, it gives it to you, no negotiation. And that means a lot, and because it's one thing, sales guys sell the first machine.
Right.
The quality of the machine and the service sells every other machine past that. And they're just really good machines.
And I hope we're going to be talking to some of your machine operators today that are actually working on the soda machines in a later conversation. But that new slogan that you suggested to them, no negotiations, because the machines operate as advertised, what does that reliability from Sodic mean to you as a business owner, and how has it helped make your operations here more efficient and more productive?
Right now, we have a lot of equipment. So if one piece goes down, to be honest with you, it doesn't hurt me. I have a lot of other pieces on the board. But if you're a smaller shop, or like when we first bought the first one, if that machine goes down, you're stuck in the water. And the first really expensive machine I bought was a Sodic high-speed mill. And every company has a Jethro. Every company. I don't care if you're Boeing or a small company. My Jethro's name was Eugene. And he took a forklift, drove
That's
it through.
my dad's name.
Oh, is it? He was a great guy. He retired with us. And he took a forklift and he drove through the shop with the mast up.
Okay.
And the room was empty except for one machine, a brand new Soda, the most expensive machine I ever bought. And he hit the main sprinkler pipe, an 8-inch main, dumped 11,300 gallons of water on it. We had 23 fire trucks here because they saw the water flow and thought the whole building was in flames. And the water pressure, I have a 150 horsepower pump.
Okay.
So the water was just flying out, drenched the machine, hit the drywall, put a hole through the drywall. That's how much force the water had. And my heart sunk. I loved it. It was my Rolls Royce. I love cars.
Yeah.
And I could have bought a really nice car, but I bought that machine. And it was on Memorial Day weekend. That weekend we swept the shop out, swept the office out, and I took everything I could off the machine, and I saw how well built it was. It had O-rings on every single thing that meant something. There was no damage. I run that machine every day, 10 years later. I think I
Wow.
bought it in 2012 or 13, so it might be more than 10 years.
So it's a reliable machine.
40,000 RPM spindle, and it's perfection.
And those high-speed mills that you have from Sodic, you admitted earlier before that you use them every single day. And I know you have some other machines from Sodic. So can you kind of walk us through what those machines are and what their specific roles are for your shop?
Sure. As a die maker, you use wire EDMs all the time. And you also use sinkers. I don't use a sinker as much, but every day we use the wire. And even as it's one thing to use it if you're a die shop, but right now we're a bigger machine shop than we are a die shop, by far probably.
Okay.
And having the wires enables me to do other jobs just easier. You know, where I'm trying to hold a tent or something, where it's hard to do, where it just makes my job easier. You know, and that's why I think people should have a wire. Even if you don't use it every day, it just I get jobs where no one else on the block could do it, but because I figured out a way to do it in a wire, I can do it. And people will pay for that, you know, because nobody else can do it. It's
Right.
that simple. You know, and a lot of wire shops are strictly wire shops. They don't think outside the box. But if you're a smart machine shop that has a lot of bullets in your holster,
Right.
there's very little work you can't do.
You're a very forward-thinking shop owner, and I think we need that today, especially with all of like the advancements we're making, how automation is kind of changing the game as well too. And one of the things that I noticed when you took me around your shop and the Sodic machine, the milling machine, you have a camera in there. So can you talk about what that specific camera is for? Like, what is that demonstrating, and why is that important for you to be able to keep track of?
What we use it for is inspection.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll sharpen a cutting edge and then offset the machine, come back and inspect the part. And, you know, we're looking at tenths on it.
Okay.
So, and it's pretty neat because it's almost like when you drive around the cutting edge, it's like sitting on a go-kart on a racetrack almost. Because you're sitting right on that cutting edge driving around. And that's where you see the accuracies of a Sodic, of a linear motor machine. Because if it wasn't linear motor, you'd have an XY ball screw. And I built machines. In fact, before I bought that Sodic, I built all the machines that we sharpen. I put double nut ball screws on them. But with the linear motor machine, there's no X, when the X and Y hand off, it's perfect. Whereas if you have ball screws on the machine, because where I used to work, we had another brand.
Okay.
And when the X would hand off to the Y, just for that little millisecond, you'd see a little bit of a twitch in there. And your radiuses wouldn't be accurate. On a linear motor machine, no negotiation.
So let's take a little deeper dive into the service and support that Sodic offers you. You said that they didn't have to come out here, so they're obviously doing a really good job talking to you over the phone and walking through the process and how to maintenance their machines, or if you have to troubleshoot a problem, they're there for you. How is that setting them apart from other companies that you might have worked with?
Every company has their strengths. And I used to have about 9 or 10 different brands here. And then you start narrowing the band down to what I really believe is in service. Because if you're down, you're down. And if you're a small to medium shop, you can't afford to have a lot of extra machines. So in the fact that they're willing to help me over the phone and tell me this or that, or come in and do PM and get it back up in the, you know, perfect condition, it's worth it to me. So I haven't had to have a lot of bad service calls because they're good machines.
So with every new machine that comes in the shop, though, there's going to be that onboarding process, right? You gotta learn the machine, you gotta train it. Can you walk us through that process with the Sodic machines? Like, how was the whole training process, and how has it helped with your workflow here in the shop?
You know, Sodic has really good support as far as the guys who install the machines. They're the techs that work on the machines, and then their service guys also work with the sales guys, at least around here. So the sales guys, at least in this case, you know, every city is probably different. They were ex-EDM guys. So when they came in, they know more than I do, a lot more.
So you're learning from them.
Yeah. So and they, you know, they're just nice guys. They it's not done in one. Here, sold a machine and they walk out. They're there to support you for the long run, you know, and I believe in the long run. Everything is a long, you need that machine for a
Right.
long time.
So speaking of the long run, where do you see or vision the future evolving for Marathon Precision, especially tying in that relationship with Sodic? What do you see in the future?
I think we've expanded in the last 18, 19 months. We filled up another 20,000 square feet here. There's one spot open for another high-speed mill that we're talking to Sodic right now about. And we'll see at IMTS. IMTS is coming up. I'll be down there. But I believe in them. And I think because of the quality of the equipment they have, it makes my job easier getting more work in there. You know, and if people come to my shop, it's a weird little shop in a lot of ways. But people see the equipment I have, and they know I bought good equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, if people come in, I get their work. I'll get some work from them.
And one of the things too that you take pride in is that you call yourself a partner with your customers. So why is that terminology, that specific term partner? How do all of these things, especially the Sodic brand, help strengthen that partnership with your customers? Like, why is it important for you to call it a partnership and not like a business relationship?
With Sodic or with my customers?
With your customers.
With my customers? Oh, because of the quality of the work we do. Face it, I do a lot of work with small companies and really big companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they can pick whoever they want to go to. You know, it's not, hey, Mike's a nice guy. It's, hey, Mike makes good, accurate parts.
Well, and you are a nice guy.
Yeah, thanks, I try. But if you don't, it comes down to what you can make. And if you have good equipment, you can make good parts. And you can make them easier. And that's the partnership I have with my customers. They see that I've invested, that we're not, you know, if you're not pedaling, you're going downhill.
Right.
That's my motto. So I've gone to IMTS since the early 80s, and every 6 years or so something changes and kind of revolutionize it with software, maybe ball screw or linear rails, but then it's linear motors. You know, and Sodic is the forefront of linear motor machines. I think they're the best, period.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for taking time today to just go over the partnership, the origin story of Marathon. Super excited to talk to some of your machine operators. To anyone tuning in, be sure to check out Sodic's brand because they're doing amazing things here for Marathon Precision. And as your slogan is, why run a marathon alone when you can have a great partner to help you cross the finish line?
Yeah, exactly.
So you make parts for the long run. I love it.
And I'm in it with the long run with Sodic.
Awesome.
I think they're the best.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.